Real Madrid, they defeated Alaves 5-0, and they did it in supreme fashion. They moved on and did the trophy celebration with their fans. As this is the first home game since they clinched La Liga, Jude Bellingham was able to add to his goal tally. Vinicius Jr. scored 2, Valverde scored, and Arda Güler, the young Turkish man, came off the bench to score for Real Madrid as they routed 5-0. This is the second straight game. Carlo Ancelotti has started Thibaut Courtois, second clean sheet that he's had, and 2 dominating wins for Real Madrid these past 2 weeks. I didn't watch the game. I was too busy watching some of the other more important games going on as the La Liga race is over. But they finished with 22 shots to 18 shots for Alaves, 11 shots on target to 10. Dominated possession, 72% possession to 28% for Alaves. And they got the win in domination fashion. But the main thing is, as we look ahead into the Champions League final, Courtois, 2 games, 2 clean sheets. Does this open up a potential opportunity for him entering that Champions League final to play? They got a few more La Liga games, which Carlo Ancelotti has came out and said is preparation for the Champions League final. Courtois came out and said after the game, I feel very good. I understand there are people who may doubt. I know that I was going to come back strong or even better. The team has a few days off, but I'm going to continue to train. He's very concentrated on wanting to make that return for the Champions League final. He wants to help his team win the Champions League. He wants to have another sort of monster performance in a Champions League final. And Carlo Ancelotti has a decision that he wants to make, that he needs to make for Real Madrid, because it is a tough decision. Ancelotti believes the Real Madrid team is entering the best form, getting ready for the Champions League final. He's already thinking about the Champions League final against Dortmund, and which I don't blame him for, because they've already clinched La Liga. This is their 37th La Liga title, and they reached the Champions League final a few weeks ago after beating Bayern, and they are really in top form. He came out and said, Carlo Ancelotti, these games are important to maintain the rhythm, the good dynamics, the motivation, and the good play. There are 2 weeks left. Now we'll rest for a few days, and next week we'll do some physical work. In the second week we will do tactical work. That's what he said in the news conference. Real Madrid does have 2 remaining games in La Liga against Villarreal on May 19th. Then the following week on May 25th against Real Betis. He came out and said, he also said, Ancelotti, for me as a coach, it's the best season. The team has been fantastic. We deservedly won La Liga. We're on the cloud, but we have to keep going because we haven't played the most important game yet, which is the Champions League final. They're unbeaten in all competitions since January. They have 93 points in 36 games in La Liga, and Carlos Ancelotti said this team has a lot of talent, very young with a lot of quality. It has the opportunities to mark an era in the future given the value of the youngsters we have. He also spoke about Toni Kroos potentially winning a Ballon d'Or. He said, I want to see Kroos winning a Ballon d'Or. Will I think that's going to happen? No, but I think it is possible if he can win the Champions League and the Euros. Is something that I think is very much within his abilities, and I think that's what he went on saying, and he just really had a full of praise for Toni Kroos, who's been absolutely marvelous this season, and he has came back and been, a difference maker to Germany within the first couple of friendlies that we've seen. regarding them getting ready for Borussia Dortmund, I think the most important team is just not a most important factor in this is not underestimating them. You know, not underestimating Real Madrid Borussia Dortmund is important, which I don't think this Real Madrid team will. I don't think there will be any sort of disrespect because this is a Real Madrid team that really does not allow things like that to happen in these moments, especially in the Champions League final. I can't imagine Real Madrid losing the Champions League final. I can't imagine that at all. I'm trying to think, when is the last time they lost the Champions League final? They've won 14 of those 14 finals, but I don't know. They beat Liverpool. Let's look back. They beat Liverpool twice in the final. They beat Atletico in penalties. They beat Atletico in extra time. That was the closest that they came to loss, being down 1-0 in the final game. In recent history, they've never lost the Champions League final. You're really gonna have to go back down to sort of ancient times for us to see. I don't see a loss. I'm not going farther down than 1970s. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But in recent times, they've never been a loser of a Champions League final. In these one-legged games, they always find a way. And this team is kind of a good example of that, in the fact that this is a team that always is in it no matter what. No matter being dominated, they'll always be in it at the end, and they'll always find the right opportunities to capitalize on, be clinical, send the game into extra time, or win it at the last minute, and doing a miraculous comeback. And for me, I think even if Borussia Dortmund is able to get some possession and able to, generate a few chances, I think the clinicalness of Real Madrid with the few opportunities they might have would just be too much. In Borussia Dortmund, I don't know if they can be as clinical enough when it comes to the likes of Adeyemi, Füllkrug, Sancho, compared to the likes of Vinicius and Rodrigo, who seem to bury every little opportunity that they have. But there is controversy regarding the goalkeeper position, which way Ancelotti should go. I've said myself, see what he's like in La Liga and determine it based on there. But it is a tough decision to make, despite the fact that he has made 2 clean sheets, because Lunin brought you here. Lunin has been very, very solid. And, Courtois is not really getting tested in these La Liga games like he will against an opposition like Borussia Dortmund. It is a totally different game. When you look at Borussia Dortmund, they're not entering on nearly as good of a form as Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund just got thumped 3-0. Just got thumped 3-0 by Mainz. And they were really, they've been really struggling all year in the Bundesliga. They're 5th right now. They're using these last few games in the Bundesliga also as preparation for the Champions League final, as 5th place is nowadays is enough in Bundesliga to reach the Champions League. So they're really preparing for that final as well. But for me, the concentration, the levels is there for Real Madrid, and I think they're in the best form, and I think they're well on their way to a 15th Champions League title, and it'll cement them. They're already cemented, but just continue their legacy of greatness at that football club.